Monty, I've known for years, and we go way back through various networking and developed a friendship over the years. And then when he started getting into emergency preparedness, I thought, wow, and he told me about the different stuff. It just was, it was really different enough so that it felt like something, oh, okay, well, I could do that. And then Linda and I were meeting over breakfast last month, and I don't know, it just came up, I think, about, feeling a need to be prepared. And I said, well, I know somebody who can do that for us. And, and so I've already ordered my stash.
Nice. And you've already set up a queue, which we'll be talking about that later tonight. And the queue is our basically our frequent buyer discount buyer club. And so you actually get benefits by signing up for that. And Pam's already set that up, so she's saving money. And for those of you who are really interested in all of this, one of the things I'm really excited about is the fact that you can actually get a lot of your groceries for free. So, and in this economy, that's pretty exciting. So, as Pam had mentioned, we've known each other since before I officially got into the emergency prepared business. But my story goes way back from when I was involved with an organization that had a motto to be prepared back in scouting, right? So, we always were camping, hiking, and my dad, because his parents survived the, depression and all of that, Grandma was always talking about, Monty, you have to get in the food business. I remember, you have to be in the food business, you have to grow it, you have to sell it, you have to cook it, anything in the food business. Because she was talking about in the hard times, if you're in the food business, you will always be able to eat and you'll always be able to feed your family. And so this is the first time I'm actually in the food business, and so I know that
Grandma know?
Grandma's shining down from heaven, so she's passed on. But I'm actually really excited about it. I just remember Grandma telling us how important it is to be involved with the food business. I went from high school into the Army, Airborne Ranger, jumped out of perfectly good airplanes, just to get to work, and we spent 99% of our time preparing, always preparing, and training, preparing. And so when I got out of the Army, all my friends always would come to me and say, hey, we're thinking about getting prepared for earthquakes. Every time there was some disaster that happened, people would always call me up or come by and ask, what are we supposed to do to get prepared? So I've always sort of defaulted, been in the prepared business, doing pre-consulting. And now, since my wife helped me find this business, we're actually in the business of emergency preparedness. And for us, it actually started with the labels on the cans. It goes back just a little bit further because I met my wife back in 1990, and we were actually at a gun show. And I remember shortly after meeting her, almost instantly, I knew I was going to marry her. And so I had to introduce her to these things. I don't know how many people have seen these before. These are called MREs. It's military rations. It's called a meal ready to eat. It's basically 2,000 calories of food. It's in a waterproof pouch. And soldiers will eat this in one sitting. Very often when we're on maneuvers, we got one of these a day. But you're supposed to have 3 meals a day. And I remember explaining to her, honey, this is what we eat in emergencies. And they come in these little pouches inside. And she actually quickly found that some of the desserts, spiced pound cake, and they have French toast and a bunch of other things that are really cool, and tortillas, because we love tacos at our house. And so we have the tortilla shells, we have freeze-dried makings for salsa and taco meat. So in the disaster, instead of eating these MREs, we can actually be eating tacos and salsa and spaghetti and all the nice, fun foods that are actually delicious. So back to how we got into this, we have the MREs. They're good for about 5 to 7 or 10 years, depending on which ones you buy. And when they expire, then you either give them away to the food bank or you throw them away. They're not delicious enough to break them out and eat them. So, it's not like you want to have a big dinner or anything. So we typically gave them away. And it was, every 10 years we buy more. And last year it was time for us to replace all of our MREs. And in the trunk of the car in the basement and our bug-out bags. And my wife was like, honey, can we just find something that is, a little bit better? Because there's so much salt in all of the preserved emergency preparedness foods. And this is just a label off of one of the popular brands of emergency food that's being advertised on the radio right now. And I picked scrambled egg mix because it's a common item. And here they have sodium per serving, 600 milligrams of sodium per serving. So this is a common, what you would see in emergency food. A good friend of mine who's on our emergency preparedness committee at our church, he pointed out that the majority of the emergency foods out there, it's basically a bag of salt with some food in it. And he actually is a little more scientific, and he actually measured and found that a lot of the emergency foods that he had before we introduced him to this product line, it was 1/3 of the package literally was sodium, was salt. And it's just way too much. And you know, in an emergency, you should actually be eating healthier food. Because an emergency is more stress on your body. So your body needs better food, not worse food. And so when you look at the labels of all the stuff we had in our emergency bags, it really wasn't healthy. And so Stacy went online, and she started reading the labels online and found that there was one company that had some scrambled egg mix that the sodium per serving was 58 milligrams compared to 600 or 1,000, you know, all of these others per serving. And I was like, wow, what is that? It's called Thrive. And it's sold at Costco and a lot of these other big box stores. And we're like, well, we already have a Costco membership. We'll just buy it from Costco. And we went online and found that what we wanted, a year's supply of food, you can only buy this pallet. It's a 4 foot by 4 foot cube. You couldn't just buy a single can or a pouch. You had to buy the whole, because Costco, right? You got to buy the whole thing, right? And so we figured, well, we'll start saving up money, and we actually had saved up $400, and we were getting ready to buy this Thrive brand from Costco. We needed another $1,200 before we could actually pull the trigger. Thank God for that, because we were at a gun show, and we met Monty and Debbie Abbott, who actually had a booth, and they had all this stuff. And Stacy saw the banner, and she was like, that's the stuff we were going to buy. And we went straight to the table. And at this point, we met them, and they handed us a bunch of corn. And when Stacy's ready, she's going to dish out some corn for you so you can taste what we tasted. And it was just amazing because the only thing in the food is the food. Where, you know, all the other brands have the sodium and all these other preservatives and stuff. And the way they do it, it's pretty amazing because they pick the food when it's fresh and ready to eat. In contrast to what you see in the grocery store, they don't pick it right when it's ready to eat. They pick it weeks or months before it's ripe. So what color are bananas at the store? They're usually green, right? And the corn has been picked weeks or months before it's ripe and ready to eat, and it sort of ripens in the truck on the way, right? But what food is going to have more nutrition? The stuff that was pulled off of the plant weeks or months before, or food that was picked off the plant right when it was ready to eat? Obviously the stuff that's right when it's ready to eat. And so they cut it, wash it, and then they flash freeze it 50 degrees below freezing, and then they use a vacuum to remove the moisture. So it actually takes the moisture out. 98% of the water is removed from the fruits and vegetables. And then they put it in a can, and it's shelf stable for 25 years.
Freeze-dried? This is so tasty.
Freeze-dried corn, yeah.
25 years shelf life. It's like candy.
Yes.
No.
That's right. So our kids, both teenagers, they like this corn in a Ziploc bag in their lunch for a snack, instead of gummies or, you know, candy or, you know, all those sugary treats. This is so sweet and delicious, you just eat it as a snack. And isn't it great? So that's how we got introduced to it. And in a couple minutes, we're going to let you taste pineapple and some other stuff. So, so emergency preparedness. Disasters are inevitable, but the outcome is not. There's actually no downside to preparing. How many people have heard of Red Cross or FEMA? Right? Anybody heard the saying 3 days, 3 ways? Okay. The Red Cross spent millions of dollars advertising and promoting that, and they're talking about getting ready for 3 days. Does anybody know what 3 ways is? It's food, water, and first aid. So that's 3 ways. Most people don't know. What's 3 ways? I don't know. 3 days. I got that.
It really well.
What's the 3 ways? You know. And then the other thing is they gave out all these lists, but nobody knew where to buy the stuff. And so that's been really exciting. Is we've been meeting up with people that work for the Red Cross and CERT and all these other people that they've been going around for years telling people where to get the stuff, and everyone's like, okay, well, I can't really get started because I don't know where to buy it. So tonight you actually have an opportunity to buy the stuff so that you can be ready. 3 days, 3 ways, they've abandoned that because they realize now everyone's changed it to 2 weeks to a month. Minimum is what you need to be to get ready. And a lot of those lessons were learned Katrina, and then recently in New Jersey, we had friends that were without power for 15 days. And the storm was supposed to hit New York. So, our friends in New Jersey were praying New York wouldn't get hit. And,
the storm is supposed to hit tomorrow in that area,
Wow.
a bunch of those areas.
Wow.
Actually, in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They said it's really going to be
and
bad.
when you think about disasters, the snow, there's storms around here. What are the common things? Blackouts. Typically, wind knocks the power out. Does that ever happen to you?
We've had it.
But it comes back on in like just 2 hours.
2 hours, okay. Anybody else longer than 2 hours?
Well, there was
the
one
power
in
goes out?
Olympia, the 2006 or 1996 winter storm.
Right.
I remember being in the house for about a week.
Right.
Without any.
Without a week. And did you have a fireplace or any kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were able to eat all the food in the fridge.
That's good. So most people don't even want to think about disasters. In fact, if we put a bunch of pictures up on a big screen right now, your body would actually have a physiological reaction to the disasters. Most people don't want to think about it, and they literally put their heads in the sand. They don't want to talk about it. And what we've actually found in the last 2 years that people have been changing, because I believe we're in the end times, and that there are the disasters are getting worse, even colds. I mean, a cold usually would knock you out for a day or two, right? But now it's like 5 days. And the flu, instead of a 24-hour flu, it's a week or 2 weeks, right? So, like, the diseases are getting worse, the floods are getting worse, the different things. High winds is real common in this area. Flooding, terrorism, civil unrest, snow. We talked about snow and road closures. We have a policy at work. I volunteer at a nonprofit, and we have a policy if it snows or threatens of snow, we don't even open, because it's not that I don't trust anyone that works there, I just don't trust everybody else on the road. And I mean, literally, I grew up driving in the snow. I was up in Snoqualmie Pass, didn't put the chains on. I was in 4 inches of snow, driving around a little 2-wheel drive car. But around here, not so much, right? So snow closures, you talked about that storm, for how many days we were without power. On the West Coast, there's over 1,000 earthquakes a year. And, you can actually go to the website and see most of them are 2.3, 2.0, 1.4. Does anybody know what the size of the earthquake that's coming, that's predicted?
A 9.
A 9.
8, 9.
8.5 or 9. 8.5 or 9, right.
Really?
They call it Cascadia. They've actually tracked over the last 10,000 years. It happens every 240 years, and we're now like over 300 years past the last one. The last one happened in 1700, right? So, and they typically, the earthquake folks will tell you, they typically don't predict earthquakes because it's too hard to do. But this one, it's been consistent every, 200 and so years. And so we're overdue. And so, not to scare you, just to say, let's get ready, let's get prepared. Hazards are real. Most people think of this as their emergency preparedness. And actually what people typically do is they'll buy foods like we used to have that were packed full of sodium, salt, beans and spam, stuff you would never eat, MREs, put it in the corner. In fact, some people do that because they know they're not going to eat it. Right. So in an emergency, after the fridge is empty, then they're going to finally have the food sitting around. But again, as we talked about, in an emergency, because of that stress, you don't want food that's bad for you. You actually need food that's good for you. And so balanced nutrition includes fruits and vegetables and meats and dairy. And Stacy, if you can bring out the pineapple, this would be a great opportunity for and Pam, you tried the pineapple already, and Linda, you had a chance to taste that, right?
Good.
How many people have heard the myth that there's 4 days of food in the grocery store?
Never heard that.
Okay. It's actually a little twist. It's not
I
the
would
truth.
say a couple of days.
Yeah, it's not the truth. It's actually a twist, because what it is in a typical situation, non-emergency, every 4 days, all of the inventory in the local grocery store turns over. It's completely gone with no emergency, right? But in an emergency, it's typically closer to 4 hours.
Not even days.
These are pictures within 4 hours of recent disasters. in your standard grocery store, that
Whenever
4 days of food is not 4 days, not an emergency, it's 4 hours. How many of you have been looking at your quiz? Quiz question number 1. What percentage of U.S. households have a balanced 7-day supply of food on hand?
60.
I put
60%?
20%.
20%?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I said 1%.
1%? 10%?
I had 10.
Say 20.
20%?
I didn't fill it in.
And what, who said 1%?
Me?
Okay, so the actual answer is 2%. Less,
2%.
Less
No kidding.
than
Well, I'll just
2%.
leave it at zero.
Now, water is the most important thing
Wow.
water is the most important thing you can do to take care of yourself. We are water. That's what our body is like. Over 90% water. That's what's in us. This is emergency water supply. It has a 5-year shelf life, and it's sterile. It's great to have for emergency kits. You can poke a hole in it and rinse wounds. You can also drink it. You want to get these. This is your price for answering the question right. Those are awesome. You can buy a bunch of them, put them in your glove box, put them in your backpack. What is the percentage of American households that have 7 days of food and water on hand?
It would have to be even less.
Right? Right?
Well, I'm on 40%.
So I'm
it's
wrong.
Probably 4%.
I put 10% because the first one was balanced 7-day supply of food. And that would be hard even in our kitchen right now. Are we balanced? 7 days of food, I put 10%.
Yeah. It's actually less than 1 because
Less than 1.
Less than 1%.
when they actually did the statistics, it's less than 1/10 of 1%.
They don't even have food or water.
Food or water. Now
Not
think about that. If we're just talking about food, that means 98% of everyone you know is going to be looking for food after the food in the fridge is gone. Right. So
They say they're going to come up from California to Washington.
exactly.
Coming
And
down.
so again, I'm not here to scare anyone. I'm just saying, hey, let's get prepared and let's get all of your family and friends prepared. In fact, my church has an emergency preparedness committee, and the church is actually planning on being able to feed 300 people for 30 days. And the church, as a church, has decided to take that responsibility on to make sure that they purchase and store food and water, blankets, medicine, all of that, because they know what happens in a disaster when people run out of stuff.
Go to the churches.
Exactly, right. They go to the church. So the churches should be ready. And so that's another thing that I recommend, that you talk to the folks at your church if they don't have an emergency preparedness committee.
We have a fellow that's for the emergency preparedness.
Right.
But we don't have it at the church, I'm sure.
Right. And so that's important that, you should introduce me to them, and I'm more than happy to talk to the pastor or any of the folks there. It's really important. So 7 days of food, water, and first aid. What does anyone? What do you want? Right?
1%.
Statistically 0. It's statistically 0 because there's actually a few people, but they can't even. It's so small. Balanced food includes fruits, vegetables, meats, and dairy, as we had talked about. Recent disasters have shown that the cavalry's not waiting to swoop down. Okay, does anyone already have a grab-and-go pack like this? Already made up?
Yeah,
I've got it, but
Okay.
I'm
not
sure
as
it's not like
efficient,
that.
probably.
Okay.
I don't have
It's not as
everything.
efficient.
So did you say you had one?
I
have
do.
one, but it was out by the Red Cross.
But you have one already,
Yeah,
right?
4 people.
And
One right
And
there.
what am I looking at?
That's good.
Yeah.
But mine's really
It's
heavy.
a big
Okay.
ration.
I know. I don't know if I
All right,
can-
so that's for you because you tried to get prepared. There you go. Okay.
Oh, but I don't get 2, huh?
You already got a prize. so.
I have a lot of water.
All right.
How long did you say this lasts? For how many years?
It's typically 5 years. If you look on there, you should see the expiration date.
Does water really expire?
Well, the thing
I
that
tasted
happens
bad water.
is life springs
Bottled water.
to life in it. So typically there'll be algae or other things that'll start growing in it. And in fact, I met a woman who was in her 80s, and her husband had stocked up, and she told me, my husband's got 500 gallons of water in these big tanks, can't move it. And she said, I went in there, and there's all this stuff wiggling around, because it's been in there for like 15 years, right? And
There's a planet in there.
there's life in there. But the beautiful thing is, you can filter that water. You can treat it like pond water. Treat it like found water. So what's the shelf life of water? Typically, if you take your tap water and you put it in one of these containers, it's good for 6 months to a year without doing anything to it. But if you add treatment to it, then it can go for 3 to 5 years. Has anybody heard of just putting bleach in your water?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in an emergency, you can do that as long as you follow the recipe. But what you really want to use instead is a chemical called chlorine dioxide, which is kind of like bleach, but it doesn't smell as bad, and it's not bleach. I mean, you could do that in an extreme emergency, but what we recommend instead is to use chlorine dioxide. It comes in a couple different forms. This is a powdered form. It comes in little packets. You just break it open and dump the packet in to the water, and you can literally take water that doesn't even look very good, put it in there, mix it up, and it's safe to drink because it will kill all of the stuff that's in there. Because of chlorine dioxide,
How much does it? One of those would be good for that.
you can do 8 gallons with these 30 packets that are in here. So there's 30 individual packets. If you're going to be doing larger amounts, this is 2-part chlorine dioxide liquid, and we recommend this. It'll do up to 60 gallons. You can do up to 500 gallons a day. So I told you about the church down in Ballard that they are planning on providing water and food for 300 people. Well, how many gallons of water does one person need per day? 3.
34 ounces.
34 ounces.
Well, I
48
said 68 glasses.
Okay.
48 ounces.
So I don't do math very well. So let's say how many gallons of water does a person need every day?
Well, just to drink.
Yeah, just to
4.
drink.
Oh, to drink. 64 ounces.
Okay.
Gallon.
Right.
So it's 1 gallon.
64
Okay.
gallons.
So how many said more than a gallon? How many said less than a gallon?
I said less than that.
Okay, how many said a gallon?
Well, I say it's better to do
1 gallon. So we got 1 gallon. 1 gallon. That is the correct answer. If the water's clear, then all you need is a filter like this. If the water is colored, stagnant, stinky, you're going to want to filter it first, and then you're going to want to use the chlorine dioxide to make sure that it's completely safe. Water, food, and first aid, when we got to that, the least people out there have first aid, and it's one of the most affordable things you can get. Just have Band-Aids, you need to pick a first aid kit. In fact, we should pass out some catalogs, Stacy. With the 3-day bag, it has 3 days of water in these little water pouches, but you can extend that by getting one of these straws. The straw will actually treat 20 gallons. So if you have 2 people and a 3-day pack, you got food and water for 3 days. If you add the straw, then you've just added another 20 days, or for 2 people, another 10 days.
If you're eating food that has 600 milligrams of sodium, you're going to be drinking a lot more water.
Exactly. And that's, again, by switching to the freeze-dried food that the only thing in the food is the food, you're going to need less water. Now, the gallon that we talked about is for drinking, and it's typically for the first 3 days. After that, if you want to start washing the dishes or washing your hair, washing your clothes, and you're going to need more than 1 gallon a day. And again, that's why the bucket filter is good, because you can do 500 gallons a day. So a typical church only needs 1 or 2 of these buckets to be able to take care of 500 gallons a day. So that's, when you think of the water needs, that's really a great way to go. There's a thing called a SteriPen, and it actually uses UV light, and it affects the DNA of the bugs that are in the water. And it doesn't kill the bugs, but it prevents them from reproducing. 3 tiers of food. We talked about the Keep Me Alive cookie, and so there's that. The next step is the MREs. Then you can go to this is our Thrive Express. Yeah. And then we have the freeze-dried food, which you guys have tasted, the pineapple and the corn. I think pomegranate yogurt is coming up next. So we have yogurt that's been freeze-dried and chopped up into these, we call them yogurt bites. And if you like the texture of yogurt, I've done this, because I do like the texture, you can actually put the yogurt bites in a cup in very cold water, you mix it up, and you will get the same texture of yogurt. Again, because it was yogurt, they froze it, dried it, put it in a can. So you just add water. And we've done it with the corn. If you add hot water to that, in 3 minutes, it will taste like you cooked it on the cob and cut it right off the cob and put it on your plate. It's amazing how delicious it is. Fresh versus canned What type of food has a longer shelf life, dehydrated or freeze-dried?
Freeze-dried.
Everybody's got that one right, yes.
Because it would have to be or else you wouldn't be
That's
doing
right,
it.
that's right. I'm glad you mentioned that you're allergic to dairy because we have, the founders of our company are really concerned about allergies. And so they're very stringent about the manufacturing process and making sure that there's no cross-contamination. In fact, when our label says that the only thing in the can is corn, then we actually have a person in our office is at our plant where we package everything. And every run that's processed, they pull a sample and they put it under testing to see does it really only have corn in it. So a lot of people ask, is our products organic? We're actually a higher level of criteria than organic. So we're way beyond that because organic says it'll only have this and this and this in it. But our label says if it says corn, that's the only thing in the can. If you have allergies, we do this all the time when we set up your queue, your shopping cart, basically your shopping list for your 3-month or 6-month supply of food. We can actually removing gluten, taking all the dairy products out, and so the company's real adamant about making sure that there's no crossing. And we even have an allergy report. So if you have any allergies, we can actually email a copy of that allergy report to you. Okay? Then on that, it'll say if you have a gluten allergy, then these are all the things you don't touch, and everything else is good. What is the nutritional loss from freeze-drying product? What percentage?
Zero.
0.
Zero.
All right, who said 0?
No, she
And
did.
who else was close to 0? Almost all of our foods are
I
freeze-dried,
was
right?
getting confused with
Yes.
frozen.
Right. Yeah, they freeze it, dry it, put it in the can. So it's freeze-dried. Yeah. Right, yeah. So the process is they take it when it's ripe and ready to eat, flash freeze it at 50 below freezing, and then they use a vacuum, and the ice literally skips a step. It goes from ice to vapor, and it gets sucked out. And so it maintains the shape. That's why it looks, when you look at the corn, it looks like corn, because it was frozen so quickly, it kept the shape. And when they put it in the can, they put an oxygen-absorbing pack in there, and it keeps it shelf-stable for 25 years. What is the nutritional loss from dehydrating products?
I put 25%.
25%?
15%.
15%, 20,
35.
35? Any other guesses? Okay, 35% is the closest. It is actually 40% because of the heat. It heats it up, you lose the nutrition. Canned vegetables from the grocery store.
I said 50. I think it's more like
65.
70.
80%.
Who said 40?
I said 40% for the canned vegetables.
Yes, and it's 40% for the canned vegetables.
Oh,
Yep. Now, for anyone who said it was more than that, depending on how you use your canned vegetables, you're going to be pretty close because if you drink all the stuff that's in the can, then you only lost 40%. But what happens when most people open it? They dump all the vitamins down the drain. So there's no way of. In fact, a friend of mine says that's not. Yeah. And so if you don't drink the stuff, then you lost all the nutrition. So.
I don't do that with the fruit ones.
Right.
I
And
don't
so.
want to taste it.
Right.
So that's bad.
Right, it is. Yeah. But again, the problem is a lot of canned stuff, they call that liquid a brine because it has salt in it. And typically there's sodium you're not supposed to eat anyway. So people that use, well anyway, the freeze-dried is the best way to go. And when you look at the dollars per serving for canned food, dehydrated or freeze-dried, you're actually getting more for your money when you buy and eat the freeze-dried foods. So you're actually saving a lot of money that way.
There's natural salt and sugar
Yes.
already in vegetables
Yes.
and, of course, fruit. So.
Yes, and that's the natural is fine. It's just when you're going to 600 milligrams per serving, or that's just way too much. What percentage of food is processed in the grocery store?
I put 50%.
85.
75.
85, 75, 85.
90.
It's probably higher, yeah. I bet it's higher.
It is 90%.
Oh, yeah, I started to think about that.
There you go.
Great.
So what percentage of the fried foods are processed?
Zero.
I put
75%.
Okay. Any other guesses? We got 0, we got 75%, 2%. Any other guesses?
I said none.
Zero.
Okay. It's 10% because we actually do we do carry some dehydrated foods. Oh, and one of the things about the corn is it is also GMO free.
Oh, good.
Which is not genetically modified. So, and right now, corn is getting harder and harder to find that's GMO free, and that's one of the things we stand behind. As long as it's possible, we'll continue to have GMO free corn.
So is that something that they put in it?
It's genetically modified, and I can tell you more about that after, if you're wondering what it is. How much does an average household spend on food per year?
I put 6,000.
Okay. Anybody else?
7,200.
7,200.
I think 4,800.
And this is an average household in America.
Probably low.
Of four.
Probably a lot.
Per year. How much per year?
Oh,
10,000.
7,000, 10,000, 8,000.
12,000.
Did you say 7,200?
No.
45. And you said 6,000?
Yeah.
6,000. That is the average American household.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
Right there, just in case you wanted to say.
Well, because, there's all different sizes of families, so you kind of have to take an
Right,
average.
and that's the average.
I
Yeah.
have no clue how to figure that out.
So the average, I did this out of order once. I was holding it up, and everyone got it right because it said right on there how much you write, 6,000. So, but into the trash it goes. How many people did you throw stuff away or compost it last month?
We compost at my house, but I throw in my curry.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
It was
I went
bad.
to India to eat curry. That's a shame. I love curry. But it's
I don't throw away too much.
what
I throw away a lot.
what
One person
percentage
It's easier not to throw.
what percentage of the household budget, that's $6,000, what percentage in America is thrown away?
50%.
50%?
I thought
30%.
25, 30%,
I said 50.
50?
35. No.
And
It's ridiculous.
who said 25? Right here. Okay.
That's still too
Yep,
much.
and that's the average in America, it's 25%. So think about how much money is that?
I'm close on that.
How much money is that out of the $6,000 budget?
2,000? 25?
So it's 1,500. Yeah. But for those of you who throw away more, because some people, they get more fresh foods, you end up throwing more away. So an average is 25. If you're throwing away 50% of your 6,000, that's $3,000 a year. So you think about it, it adds up.
Per month. Did we do that one?
It's just doing the math. Yeah, it's just doing the math. So it's 500 per month. 6,000 per year.
I said 250.
Well, your 6,000 per year was correct, and it
Okay.
comes out to 500
Oh, okay.
per month.
Comes out to 500.
And that's the one
Well,
I'm
I'm
prizes
not
for
an
anyway.
mathematician, you know that.
Whole strawberry?
Okay. So that's $1,500 a year,
You can
and
only get strawberries.
what we all need more of is time and money. So one of the things that I found about the food is the chopped celery, for instance, comes already chopped.
Well, that's what she
So
said.
you don't have to spend the time chopping. The carrots are already chopped. Everything's already chopped up. So you literally can throw together a meal in a short amount of time. And we have this thing called the Q Club, which we're going to go over in just a minute. What is the average shelf life of a Thrive product after you open the can?
3 months.
3 months? 1 year?
I don't know.
1.5.
1.5?
3 years.
3 years?
After it's open.
After you open it, as long as you put the lid back on.
Oh,
Yeah, after it's open.
Oh, after
It
it's
might be
okay. I'll just
5?
Okay, 5 years, what did you say?
I said 1 year.
1 year?
After it's
I
open.
said I don't know.
Don't know?
Which I didn't.
3 months?
For sure. So what is it?
It's 1 to 2 years.
1
So,
to 2
yeah.
years?
There you go. You get plenty of water here.
No. You're talking about the vegetable shelf, right?
I'm excited that I got
You
any.
would prepare a meal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, we have the Thrive Express, which is already a complete meal. But part of your meal plan is to think of the 7 to 14 meals that your family eats. Pretty much all the time, right? Spaghetti, tacos, whatever those regular, 7 to 14 meals you eat. And then figure out what you need to buy to make that meal using this food. Because you think about, because the foods in the can, once you open them, they are good for 1 year to 2 years. We say
Well,
1
as
year.
long as you have a top on them.
As long as you put the lid on.
And they keep them in the fridge?
Right, you don't even have to do that. 74 degrees. If you put it in the fridge, it'll last even longer, but you don't have to. 74 degrees, if you keep it in the pantry in the basement at 50 or whatever, you're going to actually extend the shelf life. But that just sitting in your pantry, in your kitchen at 74 degrees is going to be good for 1 to 2 years. So think about all the food you threw away last month or last year. $6,000, you threw away, what, $1,500 worth of food last year. What if you'd bought all of that stuff you threw away and freeze-dried? You would still have it. You wouldn't even have thrown it away, and consequently, you wouldn't have had to buy more. So you literally would have money and food sitting on your shelf and in your bank account. So you really can't lose with this stuff. It's pretty amazing. Chicken salad, is that ready?
Yeah.
Excellent, good. So we have, because you were just asking about the idea of making a meal. So we took freeze-dried chicken, freeze-dried onion, and freeze-dried celery, put it in the pan, boiled it for 2 minutes, let it soak, drained it, put it in the fridge, add mayonnaise and a little seasoning salt, and now you have chicken salad.
That's how you lost so much weight.
Oh, vegan?
That and the milk, that extra. She got teeny. She had a baby. She got teeny again.
And this
So,
is chicken
The
salad.
chicken isn't dehydrated, is it?
It's
Yes.
freeze-dried. It's
Freeze-dried.
freeze-dried.
Yeah.
Freeze-dried.
Freeze-dried.
I'm getting them confused.
Right. And so we have vegan and vegetarian safe meats that are made from textured vegetable protein, which is soy. So if you're a vegetarian, no, this is real chicken. But since you mentioned vegan, this is a textured vegetable protein, and you can see that can. How much would you think that can would cost if you were buying vegetarian at the store? Oh, you saw the price.
Oh, I didn't even look
No,
at it, actually.
but typically at the store, what would that much of vegetarian chicken cost?
Oh, quite a bit.
Quite a bit. How much?
Yeah, probably like,
Because usually you're buying a small portion, but for that much of it.
I don't know, I want to say like over 20.
Over 20, this is 13 servings. 13 servings of chicken. It's only $6.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, so if you know any vegetarians or vegans and you turn them on to this stuff, they are going to love you because they are paying so much for their vegetarian meats. We have sausage, we have chicken, we have turkey, we have ham, we have bacon, all the vegetarian versions of the meats. It's amazing. And the ground beef. It's one of my daughter's favorites. We have taco TVP, and it already has a taco seasoning in it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
Yeah. So, one last question. There's probably two more.
question.
What
Okay,
about
your
the
question.
eggs?
On the chicken,
Yeah.
You just like mix little mayonnaise or something in with it,
Yeah. So
and
here.
so you don't.
So the recipe's very
hydrate it at
simple.
all. You just-
The recipe is very simple. You didn't hear because I was talking while we were passing it out. So the recipe, you take the chicken, celery, and onion, 3 cups of water boiling on the stove, and you put it in there for 2 minutes, and then turn it off and let it soak for 10 minutes, and it continues to absorb the moisture. And then after the 10 minutes, you drain the water. I will reserve that for soup base later. Some people dump it down the drain, but it's great soup base because all you got to do is throw some other stuff in there, and we always got plenty of that. But for the chicken salad, you will then squeeze the water out and then scatter it on a tray, put it in the fridge. And now this is under normal conditions. In an emergency, you're not going to scatter it. You're going to end up eating it warm. But for the best chicken salad, you want to let it cool. And then we use Johnny's seasoning salt. You can use Lowry's or something else. And there's even no salt seasonings that you can put on there. But for tonight, it was Johnny's seasoning salt. And we mixed that in and then added 1/3 cup of mayonnaise. And just mix it up. And there you go. And you can-
Cup and a half of chicken.
Yeah, cup and a half of chicken. And think of what else could you add to that to make your favorite version of chicken salad, right? So, how long does it take to prepare a home-cooked meal for a family of 4 using just normal?
An hour.
I
Hour.
said an hour.
An hour and a half.
Hour. So an average American meal is an hour and a half. You got an hour and a half, yes. And then, how long does it take to prepare a fried meal for a family of 4?
An hour.
depending
I
on
said
how.
20
3 minutes.
how-
I said
Average.
Well,
Average.
depending on how much water you're boiling. So
Right.
anywhere from
Oh,
2 to
15
5
minutes.
minutes.
Oh,
8
gosh,
minutes.
I'm way off.
Any other guesses?
Say 15
You
minutes.
said 2 minutes.
So to prepare a meal for your
Oh,
family
a meal? Oh,
using fries.
10 minutes.
So it's 10 to 15 minutes. So you
Oh.
got 15.
More water, we like
Got
that.
more water for
Yay,
you.
thank you.
All right.
Water for life.
Thank you.
Yeah, 10 to 15 minutes.
I like that.
Okay, so you were asking about eggs. How many eggs are in a number 10 can? How many eggs would fit in a number 10 can of fried eggs?
About 18.
No shells. And again, this is not powdered eggs. Anybody ever eaten powdered eggs in the military?
They're not bad. Oh.
So, yeah, but if you look at the ingredients, it's kind of scary. There's a lot of other ingredients in there, but our eggs are literally eggs that have been dried and put in the can.
So they're little round things, little oval
No,
things.
they take the shells out and they just basically mix it up. It's not even cooked. They freeze it, dry it, put it in the can. So the only thing missing from these eggs is the water. Took the water out. So it's freeze-dried eggs. And so when you look at it, it's a yellow powder, and you just add water to it. You mix it up like scrambled eggs. And if you want to have some fun, you can actually get egg whites. And you can make the whites, and then you can put a hole in the middle and put the yolk in there, and you can make it look. But it actually, we have the regular eggs and we have the egg whites, because some people don't, because of low cholesterol, they do egg whites. But so for a number 10 can, it's 236 eggs.
236 eggs.
236 eggs. 236 eggs. Just
For a
it.
number 10.
Number 10 can. The cost per egg?
3 cents an egg.
9 cents. You know, at the grocery store, it's about 13 or 14 cents an egg, but ours are only 9 cents when you get it in this size can.
And they'll last forever.
When you go for the eggs, and we call this the pantry can, how many eggs? Anybody guess?
4.
35.
40.
50.
It's called the pantry can, because basically,
Oh, so it's
yeah.
a number 10, so it's like a 50.
There's 100.
Okay, it's close, but it's 60. We got 60 that fit in there, and as a rule, there's about 3 of these fit into one of these. So about 3 fit in here, okay? So, and then just another thing to think about with the economy, when you want to save the most money on products, you want to get the number 10 can, because you're only paying 9 cents an egg. When you go to the pantry can, it's 15 cents an egg. When you go to the pouch, it's 20 cents an egg. So the pouches are convenient but cost more, and the 10 cans are bigger, but they cost a lot less. So for foods that you're going to eat a lot of, go for the larger container, and stuff that you only just have a little bit, then the pantry can is really convenient. This is one of our most popular sizes. Okay, what are the 4 most common reasons people do not have a food reserve on hand and build their own personal home store? Why do people not do it?
I said no money,
enough
no
room.
space, don't see the need, and it takes too much space.
Don't know where to start.
Right, don't,
Don't know where, yeah.
can't afford it. What do I buy? Where do I store it?
Yeah.
And how do
no
I
space.
use it?
Yeah.
Right?
And people eat what they've
Don't see the
stored.
need for it.
Exactly.
It just,
They're supposed to. They're supposed to.
but they eat it all.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I used to have it, but where is it, right? Or I had a go bag, but all the food's gone because I put candy bars in there or whatever, right? So,
I'm sorry, you took me that list again.
Okay.
Can't afford, how to use.
can't afford it.
Yeah.
What do I buy? They don't know what to buy. Where do I store it? And how do I use it?
Okay.
Okay. So we like to address that, but when we talked about replacing all the stuff you threw away, instead of buying stuff that goes bad, buy the freeze-dried. So that's going to save you money there. And of course, then you already know what to buy because you buy the stuff that you're already buying and you just get the freeze-dried instead of stuff that's going to go bad. Where do you store it? We store it in our kitchen. We also now have a bunch of it in our pantry, and we built a home store in our garage, which is cooler and downstairs. So now we have a year's supply of food in the basement. And because of the host benefits for doing a party like this, you actually earn free stuff. And if you guys want to host one of these at your house or at your church or community center, you'll actually earn free stuff too. When we did this, our first one, we earned over $300 worth of free stuff. Just from having, we had a little more people here, but it's really great. And we get free groceries every month. I mean, literally, it's amazing how much free food that you get. And of course, how to use it. It's pretty easy. You just boil water. Now, I'm a foodie. I got my wife to marry me because I cooked for her. Is that true? Is that true?
She said that.
Is that true? Yeah.
Yeah, and everything
So-
else was a bonus.
Right. So, I was good replacing our MREs with this stuff. But then when they started talking about using this in your regular diet, I was like, are you kidding me? I love to chop and do the 2 hour and a half and have the, fancy
But
cooking.
I have to do those dishes.
Right. So, just to boil water, it took me a little to figure it and to accept it. And then as soon as I got going, man, this is great. So we have macaroon cookies and you have some milk, right? Now, here's the interesting thing. Anybody drank powdered milk when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. And
Half
we were like,
and half.
once in a while we got the real stuff and then we had to drink the powdered milk, right? And it was like, I put so much sugar in my cereal to cover up the, And, I would have never bought this instant milk because I thought it was powdered milk, but it's not. In powdered milk, the same with the powdered eggs, there's a lot of other stuff in there besides the food. And this milk, it's just milk that was frozen, dried, and put in the can. So when you add water, it's just milk again. It's not a bunch of weird stuff. So you have to try this. In fact, the milk, only thing in it is milk. When you look at the ingredients, I don't have one of the labels. Oh, yes, I do. Here we go. Instant milk. So I'll just read the ingredients. Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Ingredients. Non-fat milk solids. Ta-da! So it's just milk. When you look at our eggs, the ingredients are eggs. The corn, ingredients, corn, celery. Ingredients in the celery. Celery.
Are you coughing?
That's great.
So,
So I want to share with you how the queue works. Pam's already started on this. We'll get everyone to get the milk. Because it is. Yeah, that's fine.
Just take a little bit.
Yeah.
That's milk.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I did a booth at the state fair, and I was passing out milk, and I asked the guy if he wanted to try. He said, "Oh yeah, because you're talking to a dairy farmer. Bring it on!" And when he went to drink the milk, it was silence. Everyone was like waiting, and then he was like, "Oh, it's pretty good." So it was, it's amazing.
So it's powdered and you just add water.
And we distinct it by saying that it's instant milk, because we do also sell a powdered milk, which is great for baking, but it's going to taste just like the powdered milk. It's actually going to taste better than the other powdered milk because the other powdered milk is in a cardboard carton, and so it absorbs all the smells and flavors, and ours is in a can. But the instant milk is quite delicious. So the way the Q Club works, has anybody joined Costco or any of those other discount clubs at, Safeway or, whatever, you have a discount membership?
Yes.
So we have a Q Club, and the membership is $79 a year to register unless you're going to buy, if you are planning on buying $100 or more per month, then that's a free membership. And for most of us, you're already spending more than that anyway when you look at how much is getting thrown away. So the Q Club allows you... What's that? There would be a renewal fee of $19, and the startup fee is $79. But if you're buying 100 or more, then the sign-up fee and the renewal is waived. Where a lot of the programs with points, a lot of people will use the points to pay the renewal fee, and there is no renewal if you're actually using it. So the Q Club is the best, lowest prices and specials, and we have a thing called the coupon that comes out every month. Now, here's the interesting thing. Anybody drank powdered milk when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. And
Half
we were
and
like,
half.
once in a while we got the real stuff, and then we had to drink the powdered milk, right? And it was like, I put so much sugar in my cereal to cover up the, And, I would have never bought this instant milk because I thought it was powdered milk, but it's not. In powdered milk, the same with the powdered eggs, there's a lot of other stuff in there besides the food. And this milk, it's just milk that was frozen, dried, and put in the can. So when you add water, it's just milk again. It's not a bunch of weird stuff. So you have to try this. In fact, the milk, only thing in it is milk. When you look at the ingredients, I don't have one of the labels. Oh, yes, I do. Here we go. Instant milk. So I'll just read the ingredients. Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Ingredients. Non-fat milk solids. Ta-da! So it's just milk. When you look at our eggs, the ingredients are eggs. The corn, ingredients, corn, celery. Ingredients in the celery.
All right.
Celery.
Are you coughing?
That's great.
So,
So I want to share with you how the queue works. Pam's already started on this. We'll get everyone to get the milk. Because it is. Yeah, that's fine.
Just take a little bit.
Yeah.
That's milk.
Yeah.
It is milk.
Wow.
Yeah. I did a booth at the state fair, and I was passing out milk, and I asked the guy if he wanted to try. He said, "Oh yeah, because you're talking to a dairy farmer. Bring it on!" And when he went to drink the milk, it was silence. Everyone was like waiting, and then he was like, "Oh, it's pretty good." So it was, it's amazing.
So it's powdered and you just add water.
And we distinct it by saying that it's instant milk, because we do also sell a powdered milk, which is great for baking, but it's going to taste just like the powdered milk. It's actually going to taste better than the other powdered milk, because the other powdered milk is in a cardboard carton, and so it absorbs all the smells and flavors, and ours is in a can. But the instant milk is quite delicious. So the way the Q Club works, has anybody joined Costco or any of those other discount clubs at, Safeway or, whatever, you have a discount membership?
Yes.
So we have a Q Club, and the membership is $79 a year to register, unless you're going to buy, if you are planning on buying $100 or more per month, then that's a free membership. And for most of us, you're already spending more than that anyway when you look at how much is getting thrown away. So the Q Club allows you... What's that? There would be a renewal fee of $19, and the startup fee is $79. But if you're buying 100 or more, then the sign-up fee and the renewal is waived. Where a lot of the programs with points, a lot of people will use the points to pay the renewal fee, and there is no renewal if you're actually using it. So the Q Club is the best, lowest prices and specials, and we have a thing called the coupon that comes out every month. For most people, they do it by modifying their shopping budget, by just looking at the food you normally throw away and replacing that with the freeze-dried foods. So then you can go in and change, like today or yesterday and today we talked about and went in and changed some of the items that was on the queue that she didn't want and added things that she did want, and that's easy to do. And when you join the Q Club, you earn points, so you can actually get some free stuff. And this is, we talked about that average household budget of $600. So if you had $600, you would take $400 that you would spend every month on regular groceries, and then $200 you would put into the Q. So with that, and for everybody's budget it'll be different, but with the $200, you get to set your budget, and once you have that set up, it will tell you basically everything on your list for your family. It'll set up a monthly shopping list. And it's like a shopping cart that's going to get shipped to you. You pick a date that you want that to be shipped. And we can actually, for anyone that signs up on that tonight, you don't even have to figure out exactly what you want to put in that first order. Just we pick a date, say 5 days from now, and how much you want to buy. And then the next couple of days, just like I did with Pam, we can get on the phone and actually help you figure out what's going to go in the shopping cart. And the Q Club allows you to get a discount on foods. One of the products that, in fact, Pam and I were talking about today is the Smart Start. If you don't know what you need, then the Smart Start just has the first 3 months of groceries that you would want to buy. And it's $179 worth of groceries, that it's only $150, and it's a sampling of all of the different foods that we have. So there's included in there some of the full entrees, as well as fruits, vegetables, meats, beans, and also the basics. And there's a recipe book that comes with the Smart Start. It's one of the best. If you don't have any food storage, the Smart Start is one of the best ways to go. because there's a recipe book. It has 26 recipes, and it shows you how to start cooking with the food, because that was one of the reasons people don't get started. They don't know how to use it. So this recipe will get you to jump in and make 26 recipes over the first 3 months, and you'll have a basic supply of foods, and then from there you can customize it. So one of the things, the way the host benefits work, we talked about, because Pam and Linda are hosting the event tonight, when you guys place orders, they actually earn free food or free product. So is there anybody here who would like to have us come and do a version of one of these meetings at your place?
Yeah, I might.
Okay, so we got one. And then also...
It's easy.
It's easy, yeah. All you got to do is just talk to people that are thinking about preparing. And you think about also
Or at a coffee shop, or at church.
Right.
Or
We could do it at your house. We could do it at a coffee shop. We could do it at a church.
coffee shop, we don't drink coffee.
Okay, well, I don't drink coffee either.
We don't.
No coffee or alcohol. You know, we can
but they
drink
sell
water.
other things.
Some could be coffee.
We could go to a coffee shop.
It'll be herb tea or something.
Yeah, we
Do
could
they
have tea.
have any herb teas or anything?
No, we don't have any teas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Well, they're herb teas, they're not
No.
regular tea.
No, we don't
They're
have.
healthy.
Yeah, we don't have any of those teas.
Okay.
Okay. So then we also have an opportunity to be a consultant to actually do this. And you can be a consultant at different levels. You don't have to actually do the meetings like I'm doing. I recommend it. But you can be a consultant. It's only $200 to get registered as a consultant. And this is the starter kit that you get a bunch of pouches of food. You get a cookbook. And the cookbook's got recipes in there. That's a basic starter kit for $199. The most popular starter kit is actually this $289, and it comes with all pantry cans. So you're actually getting more food, and it's over $400 worth of food. And the nice thing about that is you get the variety of the food, you get started, and now you can actually buy at a discount. You're actually getting it technically at the same price, but you get a 10% rebate. So as a consultant, if you spend $200 a month on groceries, you're going to get $20 back in the form of a check. So over a year's time, you'll actually get 10% of your purchases back. And then when you host an event yourself, you actually get 10% free. So as a consultant, you can actually get up to $40 back on $200, so per month. So it's actually one of the best deals that we have. And then there's a deluxe starter kit. My wife and I actually bought this one instead because it comes with one of the 2-day bags and the shelving system, which the shelving system in the catalog is about page 46, I think. You can see that's how our company actually started, with the shelving systems.
So that Q Club, is that do those purchases just involve the food and not these other items? Like
Yeah, the Q Club is just the foods.
Just the food.
Right, and then of course you can order any of the products from our catalog. And what will happen tonight, one of the things, because you were talking about hosting an event, this is the detailed list of what's in the consultant starter kits.
Oh.
So this will show you what's in the $200 kit or the $289. These are all the different, these are pouches, these are pantry cans. So by hosting an event, one of the companies, I've never seen any company do this before, they call it double dip. And so what it means is a lot of people are thinking about, well, I'm going to host an event myself, so I'm not going to order anything tonight. I'm going to wait. Okay? Well, that's normal. And the company figured that out real quick. So what they did is they said, okay, go ahead and order tonight, and Pam and Linda will get credit, and you'll get a double dip. So whatever you order tonight, you will also carry that volume with you to your event.
Oh, that's nice.
So you actually get to double dip on the volume.
That is.
I might use
No one
that.
does that.
Yeah, and you can do 2 events. We have some
Yeah.
people that like to do one every couple of months or every month
Okay.
even, and we're fine. We'll continue to help you with that.
Okay.
And we have some people. They just did one 2 weeks ago, and they've already got 2 more planned that they're going to. One, they're going to go to their son's house, and then to their niece's house, and because they just are excited about getting their family prepared. We just had a guy in Alaska who ordered a big pallet of for his family of 5, got one for mom and dad, for his brother and their family, and his sister. He just bought them for everybody, and just got Palmer, Alaska, the best deal going. He's so excited. especially because they're normally 160. He's going to be showing them to all their friends, and people are going to buy them for 160. He's getting them for $80. So he's really excited about that.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah. So Stacy is going to help with orders. Anybody who's ready to place an order, Stacy can help you with that. And the detailed prices, she will fill those out and order.